Hi everyone, I'm Zone and welcome to my channel. Today let's look into this question. How big is a 1-inch type sensor? Well, if you look at these three products, the Panasonic Lumix LX10, Insta360 1R Leica version, and Sony's RX10 or RX100, they all boast a 1-inch sensor inside, which gives them superior image quality and high ISO performance. Is that 1-inch sensor really as big as you thought of? For most people, it's not. But first, let's look back into the history. And when we use film to take photos, a typical photo will span 36 millimeters in width and 24 millimeters in height, and it has a diagonal length of 1.7 inches. Now, we call this format full frame, and you can see this format on many full frame digital cameras. Well, the digital one is actually smaller sometimes. For example, on A7 Mark III, you have the CMOS spanning 35.6 millimeters in width and 23.8 millimeters in height. Well, besides full frame formats, the 135 film also gives us other formats as well. As filmmakers use the film in a different direction, the picture actually takes smaller size than an actual photo. I mean, each frame just takes less space than the photo. And it's related to the aspect ratio. For 43 aspect ratio, each frame of the film will take the space occupied by 4 perforations. So you can also call the 423 Super 35 a Super 35 4 perf format. And for 16 to 9, you have Super 35 3 perf format. The APS-C format is just a little bit smaller than the Super 35 4 perf format. And if you go smaller, you have Micro 4 thirds, and you go even smaller. We finally reached our main topic today, that 1-inch type sensor. Now, a typical or classical format for 1-inch type sensor will have a width of 13.2 millimeters and a height of 8.8 millimeter. This gives us a diagonal length of 15.86 millimeter. As you all know, we will convert it into the empirical unit, and it is 0.62 inches. It's not even close to 1 inch. Anyway, so if we talk about the area, we will be needing 3.2 1-inch type sensor to give an identical sensing area of an APS-C sensor. And it takes 7.4 1-inch type sensor to have the area of one full frame sensor. So where did this name came from? We need to trace back to the era of video tube. Well, it's basically some gadget that takes in light and convert it into electrical signals. So many manufacturers actually have products of this type. On the left you see a Vidicon tube from Sony, and on the right you see one from Hitachi. But the way we measure its size is quite different and not direct. It's very indirect. So when we talk about a 1-inch type video tube, the 1 inch is actually the length of this red arc here. So it's the image circle, and you take half of its parameter, and it gives a 1-inch measurement. And for 43 aspect ratio, we got a diagonal length of 16 millimeters. A typical a typical video tube would have a image area which is half inches wide and 3/8 high. Okay, So the diagonal lens, if we compare it with the 3:2 Nikon CX format, which is already dead now, they have almost identical area and diagonal length. Well, but the definition is not always accurate, and everyone has a way of expressing it. Here is a table sorted about the conversion rate somehow. You see different manufacturers, or even the same manufacturer, for their different model types, they have different standards. So 1 inch sometimes equivalents to 15 point something millimeters, and sometimes it's equivalent to 18 point some millimeters. So it's just chaotic, and you have to find many people to know the exact answer. But as long as the sensor is big enough, it can support quite decent image quality, like Samsung S20 Ultra or Mi 10 Pro or some Huawei P40 Pro or some new models of mobile phones. They already have a very big sensor. Somehow, it is more important to focus on how to framing, how to use the light, and how to choose your topics for your photo. We would also be interested in the technological development of our gadgets, our black books that help us to take photos. So this is the main theme of following up videos on this channel. We'll talk about the evolution of cameras. So if you enjoy this episode, welcome to hit the subscribe button and click the notification button. And you can also follow us on Twitter, and we will post later information on that. In case we make any mistakes, we will correct them on this web link here. So joft.sjstone.cn/p/1-inch/. And you can find a PDF of this episode there. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.